Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Therapy. I walked into my office, we'll call it, and I realized, you know what? I kind of feel pretty good today, which is the first time in a while. And then I opened this game only to see that I have to smash 50 rocks in one run, but you know, yeah, that doesn't matter. It's not like I struggled enough with the thing to break 25. Not the point. I'm gonna cough a lot. I apologize. Fortunately, I'm not gonna sniffle a lot. I had an 11-hour plane ride. Talk about liminal space, am I right? And I definitely caught a bit of a cold, but I feel much better now. So I think that's, you know, that's where all my problems stem from, you know, thinking. Yeah, I didn't really, I think I'm just trying to take too much control of things. You know, I want things to work out in specific ways, not necessarily for end goals, but just habitually in certain ways. And you know, it's the whole, like, I want to take control of my life, you know? I want to climb a mountain, right? I want to get somewhere. And to do that, I need to make sure that I have everything under control. And I haven't even been reading Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, but the whole notion, not the whole notion, a big part of the notion in Stoic philosophy, and maybe I need to reread the Enchiridion, is just, you know, what happens, happens. let be what will be. And I keep thinking about this book I read a while ago called The Surrender Experiment. And I think I just need to become better with surrendering myself to the facets of life. Now, what comes to mind... Excuse me. I'll try to cut those out. I should be able to see the audio peaks. What comes to mind is the fact that you shouldn't always be passive about life. I do think, you know, you do need to go out and get things. You know, applying for jobs and stuff. You're not. Maybe someone will come along and be like, "Hey, I want to hire you," but you know, I wouldn't be in the current job I am if I hadn't put out applications. Oh, there's a sniffle. I'm sorry. But at the same time, you can't get so obsessed with controlling all the aspects of your life. I mean, one of the big things lately has been work, my job. I keep trying to control how much I do and what kind of stuff I work on, and it's kind of, in some sense, detrimental. Because when you, I don't know, trying to control all aspects of your job, who you talk to, who you do things with, and who you do things for, you got to remember that, you know, sometimes it's just, like, even just sitting down and working sometimes is just surrendering. At the end of the day, objectively, it's the same thing. And, you know, you sit down to work on something. That's the objective truth behind it. But subjectively, you can either, you know, take control and sit down and make sure you get this out of the way and get it done. Because you need to, because you have to. And yes, that's true, but you can also sit down and just, I don't know, surrender to it. I think the word surrender is a really good word. This is one of those spontaneous VGTs. Anyway, and you can just surrender to the work. Yeah, you gotta do it, but you just let yourself do it. Just kind of, don't try and control yourself. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, man. I've been... I think I've been struggling a lot with self-discipline lately. Maybe this will be a better way to put this. Oh, I didn't even realize I did that, but cool. And, you know, maybe I still think self-discipline is a necessary thing, but it's less of a forcing yourself to do something and surrendering to the fact that you have to do something. And, you know, I have not given this any thought, but I'm really liking where I'm going with this. It feels right. I don't know why I feel, I don't want to say good. I think it's because I've just been more passive lately. And just surrendering. But, you know, the big thing, like, I got my flight was canceled and then rebooked for the next day when I was coming back from London, and it's an 11-hour flight. And I got frustrated and I got annoyed, and then it's just like, there's nothing I can do. You know, I'm really lucky because I have somewhere to stay, yada yada. But there's nothing I can do. We're just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna show up at the airport on time. I'm gonna get my flight back, and eventually I'm gonna be back in my apartment and everything. And I didn't suffer the same liminal space existential crisis I did last time I traveled, but circumstances were different. Anyway, this whole thing with self-discipline, right? So, you know, it's like, oh, I really need to do this. I really should do this. I really gotta get to work. I really gotta, you know, good example. I've really gotta work on this video. I want to make another typing video, and I genuinely want to finally, you know, deliver on a promise I made over a year ago. And that's so depressing. Excuse me. And I think, you know, on one level, it's just, I have to do it. My B-minder finally caught up to me, but that's kind of beside the point. But, you know, I have to do it. And instead of forcing myself, you know, on a perspective, on a mindset level, instead of forcing myself to say, all right, I gotta do the work. I gotta do the objective work. It's just, it has to happen. So you gotta surrender to it. You gotta surrender to the fact that it has to happen. It's like, I don't know how many people can relate, but skiing. I feel like it's at least a well-known sport. And I just mean alpine skiing, so downhill skiing, not cross country. You know, if you're at the top of a mountain and you're going down a trail, you can just kind of surrender to gravity and let it take you, right? You gotta go down the mountain, and as you know, go down the trail, you're gonna react to things. Oh, there's a sheet of ice here, fun. Well, that's unfortunate. That has happened so many times. You're gonna move around the sheet of ice, right? But if you sit there at the top of the mountain and you don't go with the flow, right? You don't just let gravity take you. You keep, I don't know, maybe alto's a good example, right? Excuse me. Sniffling is kind of gross, I'm sorry. At least on recording, I hate hearing it back. Man, my brain's still not 100. I'm glad I started recording when I did. This is gonna be such a scramble. Anyway, that's one, that's two, that's three. You know, you can either go with the flow of gravity and react to things as they come up and just kind of go with it, or you can sit there at the top of the mountain and stress about how you're gonna, not stress, and really figure out how you're gonna go down. You can control every single turn you make and whatever, or you can just kind of push yourself, you know, start the descent and then vibe and react as things come up. And I don't know, this feels like a really difficult thing to communicate because I hear myself saying it, but the words aren't quite doing it justice. Or so I don't think they are. It's kind of like one of those things where I'm reconnecting with the message of the Stoics in a different light again, and it's one of those understanding, like Tell me and I'll forget, teach me and I'll know, let me experience and I will understand. And I'm kind of experiencing something in a different context, in a different way. Yeah, and I don't know, I think I need to just relinquish my hold on, you know, I gotta get really good at Japanese and I gotta control every aspect of having a plan. I think my main little brain fog hold up here is actually just the fact that I don't fully quite comprehend what I'm saying itself. I just kind of, all of a sudden I started recording and then I realized I was onto something. And I don't know, I'm gonna keep rambling for a little bit. You know, not everything has to be totally set up and prepared, and all this stuff I know, but it's like I'm understanding it in a different way. It's very strange. It's one of those things where you do one thing bit by bit, and then over time, you're so far, you know, like I just started controlling little by little, every little bit. And then all of a sudden, I just realized that I'm trying to control everything. And it's weird. Today's Friday. Doesn't fully feel like it. I don't know. I think on one aspect, you know, not thinking is simply just letting things go to the side. You know, if I find myself worrying about something, I can just ask myself, is it, you know, can this energy be better spent somewhere else, right? You know, can this stress about work, of fearing that I'm not doing enough or all that, or new manager coming in, is that worrying better directed at YouTube? Maybe, because if I want to do videos, maybe I should worry about not doing them, not creating videos, even though I want to consciously. I'm not doing it subconsciously, or something along those lines. And I think I just gotta, I don't know, I gotta surrender more. But the thing is, it's difficult because surrender doesn't mean don't do anything, right? Don't be active about things. It's not like I can just sit here and a video will magically show up, right? I have to kind of, I don't know, in The Art of War by Stephen Pressfield, again, really? There's this notion that, you know, I think he used like composers or whatever, but if you're gonna make something great, I want to use one of my personal inspirations, Stardew Valley. The game, you know, the impact that Stardew Valley has on people and how big it was, it already exists in this ethereal dimension. And it was Concerned Ape, Eric Baroni, who brought that into reality, into fruition, right? Through his hard work and effort. He created the, this sounds so strange, physical essence, I guess. See, my brain's still at like 20-30% right now, so my language faculties aren't working, but there's this thing that someone just needed to bring into the world. And he was the one who did that. It existed out there, right? I'm not trying to say that he didn't make it, Stardew Valley, right? I'm just saying that he's the one who brought that into the world. And if he didn't do it, maybe someone else would have. I don't know. And that's what I'm thinking of when I say I need to surrender. Because I got a really nice YouTube comment the other day. I mean, hold on, I want to read this out. Let's see if I can both talk. Okay, well, I literally didn't even make it through my little challenge there. I was gonna say talk, play the game, and read a YouTube comment at the same time, but evidently I cannot do that. Switching to Mark Bacon channel. Mark, seriously, so helpful. I appreciate you creating this content. I'm 54 years old and decided to finally learn how to type. After watching numerous videos and articles, this video and a couple of your other videos were the most helpful for me. Thank you again. And that's one of those things where it's like, there's a huge audience for people wanting to learn how to type. I just gotta surrender to the fact that I can make those videos. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, dude. I'm gonna release this because it's perfectly VGT rambly, but you know, I want to make a video on the home run method and Sean Rona's book, finally, right? I mean, I've wanted to for a year, but I've just been trying to, I don't know if it's been perfectionism. Nice. I don't know what it is. You know, this thing that's bugging me. It's like it reached its peak, or you know, depending on the context, its valley in December. But instead of trying to take so much control over everything, I don't know if, you know, trying to schedule everything or whatever. Like I'm a very routine person, right? I think I'm someone who thrives with a routine. And, you know, not having one for 2 weeks definitely threw me off when I was overseas and everything. It was kind of nice because it's, in some sense, it's a vacation, but even I need like some routine vacation, right? Maybe that's why I feel a lot better. You know, I got actual sleep for the first time in like a month and a bit. And, you know, I'm back being able to do a routine. And sitting down for work, it's kind of just, I'm not trying to say to myself, I have to perfectly complete this and that. I'm just surrendering to the fact that I have to do it. It's not really forcing my... Objectively, it's the same thing. This is why I'm having so much trouble saying this, but I'm not forcing myself to sit down and work all of a sudden. You know, for a video, I don't need to... I just need to take a deep breath. Stop thinking so intently, I guess. And just reframe it and don't put it as a... You know, I really need to get this video done. You know, it's got to be done this week. Just sitting down and letting the ideas show up and surrendering to that feeling and then bringing them into the world. This sounds so weird. You know what? I'm not gonna... I mean, I don't really ever watch these VGTs back, but please forgive me for sounding so weird. Oh my god, it's almost at 20 minutes. That's a first, for a while at least. But yeah, I don't know. I think self-discipline's important for, you know, obvious reasons, maybe. You know, motivation doesn't always exist, you know. I still have to be like, okay, Mark, you know, time to get to work. But I think, and I probably said this before, but it has a different meaning to me now. Self-discipline is what gets you started. Surrendering to what you've just started is what keeps you going. Self-discipline is what gets you started, but surrendering to what you've started is what keeps you going. I really like that quote, and I'm going to end off on it. I would love to hear any thoughts in the comments. But yeah, thanks for listening to my weird rambles today. And hopefully I will see you next week. Have a good one, and as always, don't forget to stay awesome.